Greetings, how you doing? This is Adam Rafferty, funky fingerstyle guitarist from New York City. And in this lesson series, I'm going to teach you step by step how to play my arrangement of Sunny, written by Bobby Hebb. And in this getting started video, I want to tell you a little bit about the tune. And I have some very interesting miscellaneous facts. But first off, I want to actually explain how this arrangement came into being. I've played this tune probably for a little over 20 years now. I played it quite a bit up in Harlem when I used to play at all the organ Hammond B3 clubs. I got to know the tune there because it was sort of a soul standard tune, if you will. And one of my students on Study with Adam uploaded a version where he covered Sung-Ha Jung's version of Sunny. And I immediately became a little bit suspect because Sung-Ha's a lot younger than me. And, anybody younger is always suspect. But really, I wanted to sort of double check that Sung-Ha had created his arrangement with what apparently a lot of people presumably will learn because he's famous. I wanted to make sure that there was the integrity of the melody was kept, the arrangement, the harmony, the rhythms in the melody, all that. So I ended up doing a little bit of homework so that I could guide my student where the Sung-Ha arrangement maybe or maybe not had gone astray and deviated. And little did I know I was sort of building my own arrangement in doing my work as a guitar teacher. So I didn't realize that. And I'd been wanting to arrange this tune for years. So that's how the arrangement was born. Okay, and a couple really cool miscellaneous points. One, on the original Bobby Hebb version from 1966, I read on Wikipedia that there were two trumpet players, Joe Shepley and Bert Collins. And guess what? I played in a band with those guys in New York City. I played in Mike Longo's big band. I was seeing these guys every week. So how cool is that to somehow be part of this thread of who actually played on the real record? Now, the original version has a key change. I think every chorus, it just keeps going up in half steps. I don't do that, but I try to sort of change the key a few times to give that lifting feeling of the key changes from the Bobby Hebb version. And I want to just remind you to leave out anything that is too difficult for you to play. The main thing is always the melody and the groove. And now for the last 2 minutes of this video, I want to give you an idea of just how popular this song is. I had not realized the following, but there are an unbelievable amount of cover versions of this song. Kind of like the way Ain't No Sunshine is covered by many people. So I think Bobby Hebb is probably doing all right on his royalty income. Okay, so there was a 70s disco version by an artist named Boney M. I'd actually never heard her version. It's all right. But here we go. James Brown recorded this. Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Jose Feliciano, Dusty Springfield. These are all individual recordings of Sunny. Bryan Adams, as in Summer of '69. Bryan Adams, Cher, Andy Williams, Carol Burnett, Bill Cosby. I'm actually skipping some because I don't want to go on too long. Liberace. And these are just vocal versions. I'm saving the best one for last, though. Instrumental versions are everybody from Wes Montgomery to Oscar Peterson to George Benson. But probably the oddest version of Sunny has to be none other than Leonard Nimoy. And I gotta say, it's not my favorite version of Sunny, but hey, Leonard Nimoy covered Sunny. I didn't even know Leonard Nimoy did anything except be Mr. Spock. So let's go on to part 1 of the lesson. I hope this is fun for you, and I really hope that you enjoy learning this. Let's get started with Sunny. All right. All right. So we are at the intro on Sunny. This is just a little something that I came up with to help get into the tune. We're in standard tuning. Okay. And the first couple times we play through the tune, it's going to be in the key of B minor. Okay. So intro, I do sort of a 007 James Bond kind of thing. Let me just show you the chord shapes first. If we go to the 7th fret and bar, and just you put the 3rd finger on the 9th fret, imagine that we're going to do this, and this one's going to go up a fret. So we're doing the 5th string. That's with the bar chord, that's what's going to happen. There's a couple different right hand fingering ways to play this. Let me show you what's going to happen musically. On beat number 1 is when we're going to play the A string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's going to be with the bar. And we're going to do a little back strike just on the top couple of strings on beats 2 and 4. So it's going to kind of be like this. Now I'm just showing you a skeleton because we're going to add some more. So it's going to be... Okay, that's the musical idea. But then we're going to add some syncopation. So what I'd like to do is on the beat preceding beat number 1, the and of 4, we're going to put a low B. So every time we go into the A string, we're going to go play a 6th string beforehand. It's easier to show you musically than it is to actually speak it. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Boom, bing, boom, boom. So it can be a little misleading because the lowest note is not the one that's happening right on the beat. Okay, I'll sing it for you one time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and ding, boom, bam, boom, bam, boom, bam. Now, if you've watched my lessons here on the site for a while, you'll know that I always talk about this beat that goes boo boomed, bat boo boomed, bat boo boomed, bat. So this figure fits that exactly. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and boo boomed, bap boo boomed, bap. Now if you're looking in the right hand cam, I have kind of almost like a lute player hand position that's developed over the last few years. Sometimes I like to play this almost like I'm using a guitar pick. I'll play that A string with the index finger. But you don't have to do that. You could go thumb, thumb, okay? Thumb, thumb, thumb. The only thing that I suggest is if you do that, try to do what's called a rest stroke with your thumb. So you play the first one and then you land and you're right in place rather than pluck and go out and then pluck and go out again. Thumb, thumb. That would make a lot of extra bouncing around. So you want to do it with the same technique that you would strum a string with. You know, you strum a chord with. You land okay? And you got to be very, very careful to stay nice and loose over here in your thumb. Maybe pull the volume back a little bit. At all costs, keep that thumb as loose as possible. Okay, so when I'm doing my thumb, I'm relaxing it to a very high degree, and I'm just kind of letting it slip through the string. And then when I'm doing this slap, I'm actually doing it with my ring finger, because I can kind of just get the top strings a little more easily. And when I land, I'm also getting my thumb in place. See that? So I'm going. And then the thumb is already on the low E string. So that's the tempo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count you in so you can hear the exact placement of all this stuff I'm doing. I'm going to play this at tempo, at the intended tempo, and then I'll play it again slowly for you. And you don't have to play this real loud, this intro, because we want the song to kick in a little bit. So as I'm doing this, I'm not playing this intro very loud. Okay, so here we go. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. And then we're in the beginning of the tune. Okay, one more time slowly for you. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Ready, and. And then we're in the tune. So it's really important right from the get-go to be clear on the ba-boom, bap, the beat, the rhythmic concept, the thing that's driving the whole tune. Don't only look to the guitar fingerings, because it'll always sound off. It'll never make sense until you have internalized that beat. Boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap. Okay? All righty. Let's go on to the first couple of bars of the melody of Sunny. All right. All right, so let's get started with Sunny. The first thing that I would like to have you get a little bit familiar with is the chord progression. It's pretty simple. If you're sort of familiar with some jazzy kind of changes, I'm going to go through it real fast for you, because I don't want to make too much of a harmony lesson out of it. I want to teach you how I play the arrangement. But let's look at it in the key of B minor. Okay, so it's 16 bars long. And here we go. Okay, so we're at the 7th fret. Sunny. Then it goes down to A minor. D7, yesterday my life. G major 7 was filled with rain. I do an F sharp 7. Sharp 5 there, but it doesn't, the extension doesn't matter, it's just F sharp 7. Next phrase, same thing. Sunny. That's just a passing chord. Ba da 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 da. Okay, that was almost the same thing. Third phrase is going to be almost the same. Ba bo da da, ba bo do da. Da, 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 da. Now here's the main difference, C7. And then I like to do a C sharp minor 7 flat 5. Don't let that freak you out. Da, 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 da. To F sharp 7. Ba, da, ba, da. Okay, so I'm going to do that in time for you once, just so you can see it go by. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and Sunny. Da 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 da. Okay? So that is the basic progression. And it's, if you're a jazz R&B player, you play in a band setting, you would see that this is a very comfortable song to solo over. I think it's just a great tune. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the first 2 bars of the song. I'm going to show you how I attacked this arrangement. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to make 100% sure of was that the melody would come out enough. And clearly it's on a B minor chord and the melody is F sharp. So my first idea was, I'll do a bar chord. But if I listen, I can hear that there's a lot of thickness in the chord kind of clouding the melody note. And so I wanted to be absolutely sure that melody note would come out. So the first thing we're going to do is different fingering. Check this out. And a different chord altogether. We're just going to do the melody note over here, 7th fret. And I reinforce it with an octave. And then all I do is put a bass note. And I'm muting all the other strings with my left hand. That way, I can sort of aggressively strum, or I should say sloppily strum with my right hand, either like a rasguiato, see what I do, or with my thumb. And we hear that melody note crystal clear, and we also hear the bass note. So that important identifying moment of the tune, Sonny, comes out loud and clear. Next, I walk down the B minor 7 to the A7. The other thing is just a filler chord. You don't need it's not fundamental to the harmony. Here's the way I do it. Barring my 3rd finger, I'm playing the 4th and 3rd string. I'm getting a little bit of the 2nd string too, but I'm not plucking it with the right hand. And with the 2nd finger, I'm adding the bass note. So if you could see it, that finger is squashed. It's bending backwards a little bit. And so the 1st string is getting muted and the 5th string is getting muted. And then over here on the right hand, I'm actually only using my thumb and index. So I'm going 1, 2. Now, guitar logic would say, well, I could use my index and middle, and you might want to do that, but I didn't want it to sound like pluck, pluck, pluck. Rhythmically, I can get more punch, almost like a bass player, doing it like that. Okay, so sometimes simpler is good. Speaking of index finger, let's not forget Merle Travis played a lot with his index finger. Who else? There was Doc Watson. A lot of guys just play with index finger. So we can always look to simple fingerings for good solutions, because the punch of the rhythm is more important to me than the crystal clarity of each note being plucked with a finger. So 1, go 2, go 1, 2, ready, and all right. That's one possible rhythm. A bang, 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 bang for the comping. Okay, and you can have fun with the rhythm. You could also do 1, 2, pop, pop. Bang, bang, bang. There's you can be a little spontaneous there. I like to change it up throughout the song to keep the sound of it that it almost sounds like a live group rather than a stiff arrangement. Now next, the second bar, this is critical, and this was one of the reasons that I actually did this arrangement. I heard a guitar arrangement, and I thought, wow, you know, what is the melody exactly here? Because this is a spot where a lot of people, and for years, I played the melody differently from the original version. Most people would play Yesterday My Life. Now that sounds all right. So sunny, yesterday my life, ba, 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 ba. But that's not it. That's not it. And this is one of the reasons it's really important to go to the original version, because these little subtleties of getting the melody right really make an arrangement more magic, I think. So here's the melody, and I'll show you how I play it. It goes, yesterday, my life. Okay, yesterday, my life. Ba-da-da-da-da. Not ba-da-da-da-da. Sounds almost the same, but it registers for people who know the original. Yesterday, my life was filled with rain. So the word life, when we're in this key, is going to be an E. So let me show you how I do this. I hammer on. I think I hammer on with my pinky. And it's 5th fret barred. It's a D sus, meaning it's just that. And then a back strike on that F sharp there. That's a little hard to get. I like doing it with my ring finger, and I try to let go of the rest of the chord so it doesn't sound like that. Now you can do whatever combinations of 3rd and 4th finger are comfortable. I think I do my 3rd finger. It's hard to tell now that I'm not on stage. I don't remember which finger I use. But if you end on your 3rd finger, then you can slide it down to the 3rd fret, and you're going to need to do 3rd fret, 2nd string, 3rd fret, 6th string. Okay, so you're going to play Yesterday My Life. You're going to play 6th and 1st string together. Try to hold on to that D, because you're going to need it. Now watch. You're going to slap and pull off Yesterday My Life was. See what I just did over here? Okay. That's a lot of kind of funny little moves, and I've customized it to the way my fingers like to touch the strings. But the reason I've done that slide there and the pull off and the click is because I want each one of these notes to fit right in the rhythmic pocket. Okay? That's a lot of the reasons for my fingerings. So let's do it one time, nice and slow. Okay? 1, 2, ready, and okay? Alrighty, let's go on to the next video and do bars 3 and 4. All right. All right, welcome back. We're now on the Melody Sunny bars 3 and 4. I kind of gave you a little bit of the first part of bar 3, but we're going to finish that. So here's where we were. Right? Now watch. Thumb. Yesterday my life was filled with. So I'm putting this little bass note on the and a 2. Life was filled with. Between was and filled with. Those are the lyrics. Yesterday my life was filled with. See where that fell? Life was. Okay. Now we're going to do an F sharp sus chord. This is kind of a tricky one to grab, but I like the sound of it. Okay. If that's hard for you, you can do it like this. And then this next chord is a C9 sharp 11. You're gonna bar the whole 2nd fret. Then for some reason the sheet music that I'm looking at doesn't have this C in it right here. I'll try to fix that, but in case you're not seeing it, just play what I'm playing on the screen. Okay. I'm going to play this now at a slow tempo so you can see that in action. This is the first 4-bar phrase. Okay. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay. That is really a cool sound. The reason that I like that sound is, I strive with an acoustic guitar to get these open sounding chords even when things are jazzy. Because very often jazz chords can sound very cut off, that there's not a lot of air and flowingness in them. So I try to use what I can use open string and acoustic guitar wise. How about I play for you the intro and the first 4 bars, nice and slow. Okay, here we go. Boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay. Now there's another thing that I wanted to show you I hadn't mentioned. When I'm over here, one of my sort of invisible techniques that you can't see, but that I'm doing is I'm taking a lot of care right there to mute this low E string. See? I'm using the tip of this first finger, the barring finger. Okay? I'm on constant guard to keep unwanted strings from ringing. And that'll just happen to you if you play through enough loud sound systems. Okay? One more time. And this time, just for fun, if you want to watch in the right-hand cam, I'll do this with my index finger because I mentioned that I might do that. And I'm literally spreading between my index, I don't know if you can see it, my index and my ring finger. As crazy as that looks, it's because I'm doing a lot of strumming like a bass player. Okay? Nice and slow. Boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. So I'm doing a hammer and a pull off there, I'm finding, in playing it for you. I'm seeing how I do it. you know, with this backstrike, sometimes those notes get a little bit cheated. I wish they were more solid, but because it's a familiar melody, it's almost as if the listener's ear will fill that in. So to reiterate from the last lesson, the video before this, that melody, yesterday my life, that is the right melody and one of the main reasons for me doing this arrangement. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go on to the next 4-bar phrase, bars 5, 6, 7, and 8. They're very similar to this. With just a few little twists and turns, I think we can do 4 bars in the entire next video. All right. All right, we are now on bars 5 through 8 of Sunny. And one of the things that I like to do here is I do a variation on the first phrase that we heard. I noticed on the Bobby Hebb version, he sort of changes the riffing and singing and, well, the lyrics are different, but he changes it a little bit. And so that's the kind of thing that makes music sound like it's coming to life. So I didn't want to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to show you what I do here. Okay, if you've gotten the first part down, this will be a piece of cake for you. I hope. Okay, so right, same thing there. And now this is easier. I just go. I don't do any of that melody that I don't do any of that. Now watch. Now, coming up, this is tricky. If you can get this, great. This next thing that I'm about to show you, let's call this optional, because I don't want you to get hung up on it. You could just finish the phrase. You could do that and just finish out as with the same chord shapes that we do. But what I like to do is, watch this. Pinky, pull off, and then a hammer. Now that can be pretty tricky if your hand position is not quite right, because if you move your hand too much out of the way when you do that pinky pull off, you might get out of position. And I play with like a classical guitar sort of hand position. One thing that you can't see is that my thumb is touching in the back of the neck. Maybe you can see it over there in the right hand cam. There we go. So. And if I keep my left thumb touching in the same part of the neck, the hand stays in the right position. Let me sing you that rhythm. Blah, ba, bo, ba, be, ba, bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ba, da, ba, do, ba, be, bass. Be doggone bass. And so that's a little melodic turn that Bobby Hebb sang. Sunny. I think that's what he sings the second time. And that adds a really nice contrast to the first phrase that we hear. Okay, so I'll play this bars 5 through 8 for you, nice and slow. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, now. And on the right hand, I'm using my thumb and my third finger. You don't have to, but I do suggest planting the thumb. So that thumb is already placed, see? And I'm doing this oddball thing I almost forgot to mention. First finger's playing the first string, and I'm crossing the second finger over in the same fret. So I'm giving everybody the finger with this chord, so to speak. And I'm not worrying about any chord in the middle. Okay? So how about I play the first 8 bars now, starting with bars 1 through 4 of the tune, and then bars 5 through 8. Okay? I'm going to try to go slow for you. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Okay. There's another thing that I noticed that I did just now playing, and you probably saw it in the cam when I did this chord. I did a sort of a brushy strum over here, and I'm doing that throughout the piece. You probably know my playing by now. I do a lot of these strummy kind of chords to give that feeling of rhythmic freedom and airiness in the sound, rather than a school sort of 3-finger pluck classical concept. Okay, so I'm going to play this for you one more time. I'm going to try to go nice and slow for you. Here we go. Bang, bang, 1, 2, ready, and. Variation. All right, let's go on to the next video where I'm going to show you just we're not going to go on to the next part of the tune quite yet. I want to show you a very special little chord substitution that I learned from Joe Pass that I do in these passages sometimes, but we'll do our own video on that. All right. All righty, welcome back. We are now into the tune, Sonny, and we've done the first 8 bars. And in this video, I want to show you just a neat little substitution that I do. We're going to take a pause on the tune for a minute. There is a jazz guitarist by the name of Joe Pass, who was one of my first jazz guitar influences. I really love his playing. And one of my first records of his was a record that he did with a bass player called Niels Henning Orsted Peterson. Duo record. And the record's called Chops. And they do a tune called Old Folks, which was made famous by Charlie Parker. And Joe Pass did a really neat thing that fits this B minor walking down to the A minor 7. He did it in a different key, but what I am about to show you, I do in the YouTube video. Okay, so here goes. You can throw this in wherever you want. I start to work this in as a variation. So if you look at these chords, you can see everything's moving down. Everything's moving parallel. So a neat thing you can do is, what if we wanted a melody line to go up and the rest of the chord going down? It adds a kind of an orchestral slick kind of voice leading to these chords. So let me show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do the first chord as planned with the D on top. And then the next one, we're actually going to go to fingers over here. That's called a B minor 11. And then the next one, since we can do open strings, I just do. So what's happening is the top line is going ba, 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 boo, doo, 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 and then played on the guitar. It'd be a little cleaner if it was sort of a fingernail choir-like plucking approach, but still our ears hear the line go up. So what I'll do now, just as a demo, is I'll play the first phrase with the regular chords going down, and then the second time I'll do the chords going up. And if you did it in a different key, and you might not be able to use the open strings, so you would just do, use a fretted note. I like this though, because it takes advantage of the acoustic guitar. Okay, so here we go. Phrases, the first 8 bars with this new Joe Pass substitution. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, y'all know what to do. So did you see it when I did the substitution? I think I even changed the rhythm up a little bit. So, as you can see, by changing just a little bit of what's going on with those passing chords and changing a little bit what's going on with the phrase, adds a nice variation, makes it sound loose, makes it sound alive, and more similar to the Bobby Hebb vocal version. Alrighty, let's go on now to bars 9 and 10. All right.